All right, welcome. This is, what are we on? Bitcoin Core App Design Call number 76. Thank you all for joining. I did not spend a lot of time on the Core app in the last week, but I know there were a few things that happened. And as always, we have our document here with notes, and I'll share it again. And I put a few things in there that I think that are going on, but feel free to add other stuff. So I know there's a pull request, that's a code pull request around the block clock. assumeUTXO is going on. Mobile nav. Jakob can't join today, so I don't know if there's anything we need to discuss. I don't think there was progress. Then we have language selector, minor issue. I think that's also Jakob and I talking in there. And then Joaquin, you posted some animation updates. Let's make sure to talk
Yeah,
about
just a
those.
few. Yeah, I guess I didn't come through. I'm still trying to figure out the whole Lottie thing.
Yeah, sorry, that's kind of a painful
Yeah.
process there. Is there anything else that should go on this list?
I put together the all the wallet flows for the wallet creation in the Figma file, including Core, Sparrow wallets, Nunchuck. So that's going there, and I started kind of mocking up some things where we maybe next week, or I can show it, but it's not so much design going on there yet.
Mhm.
It's more kind of consolidation, but I think from next week on we can kind of keep iterating. Jakob already left a couple of comments there, so that's what's going on from my side.
Cool. Can you? Which file is this one? Is that the GUI QML file, the one that we used, or is it a new
No.
one that we need to circulate?
I'll paste it here in the chat. Whoa. Hey. I enter things and it doesn't show up in the chat, or did it?
I see two links that you shared the same link twice.
Oh, and I don't see any of these links in the chat in Jitsi. That's why I posted it twice.
Oh, okay.
That's weird.
You're getting censored.
So yeah, I have today is really a strange day. The kind of the heater for the pump for the water, hot water went out. I spent like an hour and a half on it, and internet connection's bad, and everything is just falling apart. The world is burning.
It's very dramatic.
Yeah, I know, but it's like you make your plans and they just go out the window.
Your computer is still working and your internet connection.
Yeah, but no, I don't want to talk about it because because bundle exec jekyll surf still doesn't work for me on my Mac Mini and but to to turn to other things is so what I started doing there is kind of just laying out the wallet creation flows and a little diagram, started putting in some kind of also conceptual questions that I have, and then just kind of basing or starting putting together a couple of wireframes based on what we had already from like a year ago or a year and a half ago, and I think there will be a lot of things to discuss also because I don't have the full history. So, but yeah, that's ongoing, and I'll be continuing working on these today at least, so we can have maybe a discussion next week. The first iteration.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's a lot of stuff in here. The screenshots too. You know, if you'd like, it's something that obviously I'm a fan of, is you could record a 5-minute video and share your thoughts on all of this stuff. So each of us could watch it separately, whether we can make a call or not, and then respond separately or in a conversation. And you know that you had this question here about key management. Should we also allow for adding keys independently from specific wallets? There's probably some of that will be dependent on how the GUI currently works.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a settings file where keys are stored separately from wallets, cool. If not, then probably can't do it. So there's some stuff where we just need to make do with what's there. But we could also propose changes in the future. But first proof of concept work will probably be mostly working with what's there.
Yeah, that's fine. That's also, these are things that I that I don't know what the current status is. So I just put it on there, and we can talk about it. But I just thought it was a really nice thing that Nunchuck does, where you, and Spectre as well. You basically just import the keys once, and then you can reuse them for your different wallets. But so it's kind of But a good idea with the video. I was actually doing that in my previous company as well, but somehow stopped it now for some reason.
I see the word key store popping in here.
Yeah,
That's where you buy your keys. Okay, very cool, very cool. There's a lot of stuff there. Anyone else have thoughts, questions? What does a health check do? How do you top up XPubs? What does that mean?
I don't know. And so a lot of things in Nunchuck are just not really explained. And also the interaction with external signers is by far not as smooth as Sparrow Wallet, for instance. I think Sparrow is really, really good at that.
That's the word on the street.
Yeah. And I also noticed that what is in core today is the make blank wallet is actually, I think, the default for Sparrow. So you just enter a name, hit create wallet, and then the wallet is there. And from there on you start building the wallet, adding keys and stuff like that. So
there's a shell of a wallet, like an empty vessel with a name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A container, and then you start building it up, which was kind of a one-click wallet creation, even if it's the wallet is not operational yet, but it's still it's actually nice.
What is it? What do you mean a shell of a wallet?
So if you hang on, maybe I'll share my screen. If you window, here we go. So the when you create a new wallet in Sparrow, you just give it a name, and then it's there, right? I just created a single sig wallet, but it has not any keys assigned to it, so you can't
I see.
do anything with it yet. You have to then connect your hardware wallet or import a key or stuff like that. But basically, everything is the container or the shell.
It's a draft.
Right.
Exactly.
Based on other settings that come later.
Yeah. So it's that's actually you get. That's nice. It's not like a long wizard or a long creation flow. So, but I didn't want to derail the call too much.
Look at all that language there. Policy type, script policy, descriptor, key stores. That's gotta know what you're doing there.
I'm having a bit of a, I don't know if you could call it a moment of revelation, because I know you're in the research Sparrow was the most popular wallet used by current Bitcoin Core users. So I'm now looking at the user interface, and there's so much of terminology there which just makes no sense. Like the script type, I wouldn't know how someone would want to choose what script type they would use, or would that be auto selected? So I'm just, maybe it's specific parts of the user experience that they were drawn to, but some of these, like this screen in particular just doesn't make much. Yeah.
Yeah, if you know these terms, then it's awesome. It's very simple. You can quickly click things together, but it requires a lot of prior understanding.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very advanced, or it's not like a consumer thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What were you doing with the Sparrow wallet? I didn't catch that.
I was just I put all the wallet, since this page or this milestone 1.4 is about wallet creation for core. I just assembled in this Figma page. I assembled how other wallets are doing.
Oh, I see.
So that's that was kind of the research that I did in terms of just market research, and maybe we can draw on that, or maybe not.
Yeah. Especially from a wallet that so many people say is awesome and it's the best, right? Did you make sure that there's like this master fingerprint and stuff, that's not sensitive data to?
Yeah, these are really. I have a couple of dummy or testing R&D seeds. So
Okay, cool.
I checked that before I was heeding your advice, and I decided that it's okay.
Okay.
Nothing personal in there.
Exactly. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's see how we can tame all that complexity.
Yep.
And is that something that you how would you like to move forward with this? What's a good what are good next steps?
I was thinking, and maybe I just reshare my screen now that I stopped it, that I wanted to just start chipping away at. I kind of laid out the kind of the different decisions that I have to go through as a user, and then I probably would go down the single key part first, creating a single key wallet, and kind of start with the designs or mock-ups, also based on what we had here already, kind of consolidating this a bit, and then have a discussion about it, and kind of just use case by use case probably. Because I mean, what will be probably very similar is, I mean, adding keys to your wallets will be, it doesn't matter if it's a single key or a multi-key wallet, right? It's so that process is going to be always the same. So the idea was to just get started with a single key wallet, and by doing that, already I think there are a couple of questions that will come up that maybe I just don't know about. Is for instance, do we allow entering recovery keys or seed words to import a key or add a key to the wallet or not? And this so kind of chip away at these more fundamental questions.
Yeah. So Bitcoin Core, as far as I know, does not support recovery phrases.
Good.
And I don't think that's changing Maybe Johnny can confirm, but I think that's the situation there. Yeah, a simple thing. So because Johnny mentioned that they're looking, the first version of this wallet stuff will be just single sig, like how it works now, basically. So you could kind of separately create the most basic version we can think of, that's just a single sig, does that well, and then separately in parallel see how that could then expand to allowing for all this other stuff. Have you actually tried the Bitcoin Core with a hardware wallet?
Not yet.
Yeah, could be something to look into. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure the GUI supports it. It might just be a command line thing. But even if it's a command line thing, we'd probably learn something about what questions it asks, what options are available, and all that.
Yeah, I had to. Good thing is that when you hover over these things, it gives you additional info, but it's easier if there is a little icon that tells you that there is something to hover. But yeah, that's fair enough. I can do that.
Yeah, it could be a situation where we try to get the first proof of concept version 1 done very quickly for them, so development could start moving forward, while we take a little bit more time to flesh out the more complex flows with prototypes or other things.
Yeah, it's probably a good approach, because still some of the major things will be in there, even in this kind of simpler single sig case.
Yeah, and they might even change over time. Like, for example, if we have hardware wallets, are all of them supported or just some? And so we might end up splitting this into a lot of minor version updates.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but that will be a really big one to get ready. I think when people have a good experience setting up their wallet, they will trust it more. They'll feel more in control. They'll be more comfortable using it.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else on this one?
Nope.
Okay, how about we next talk about the Lottie animations?
Sure. So let me show you. I posted. Hold on. Let me. A link. I've done After Effects work before. I haven't really done so much integration with Lottie, so it's been somewhat of a learning curve. I just sent a link in the chat. You guys can click on it. These are 3 of the 4 initial animations. The fourth animation, like you mentioned, Christoph, the Lottie, when you export it, some of the effects in After Effects just don't work. So I haven't really found out which, like a radial wipe. I was trying to, on the block clock, the outer rim, I was trying to animate that around through a radial wipe, and it didn't work when I went to export it. So you guys can take a look at the initial animations. These are, I guess the simpler the better. Also, I don't pay for Lottie itself, so I'm not. Do you know what the final file would have to be? Would it be a JSON file?
Yes, it would be a JSON file that basically just contains vector
Right.
points that then get rendered out and interpolated in between for the animation.
Right.
Yeah,
So
thanks for yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can export that. I mean, I think the first 2 work pretty well. The little red dot and the downloading of the node, the network. What you had, Christoph, the little animated lines moving around. tended to like that a little bit better than what I created, but I couldn't replicate it. But I think there's a little bit of consistency to everything, which is on the positive side.
Oh, I see it. So in Safari here in my background, it's super laggy, but it renders much better in Chrome.
Yeah, I noticed that too when I was throwing them up there, that it, depending on the size and the browser, it affects the smoothness.
Yeah, super nice. Thanks for putting those together. Yeah, so the problem with so After Effects is like an animation tool that's used for movies, for motion graphics, for crazy stuff, and then we're exporting it to basically basic vectors and SVG animation, and the SVG just it's made for the web for very basic vector shapes, right? And then you quickly end up, if you nest something, if you use um, masks, if you use like radial gradients or so, you're like instantly into stuff
Right.
that it just can't do.
Not even masks, which surprised me.
Even things like, if you have an inner border or an outer border, that stuff might not be possible, or it's just super limited. But if you work within that, then you can make stuff happen.
Right. And then I noticed that it had some things were limited to a web browser, and then they had a different set of limitations for like ISO or Android. Have you came across that as well?
Have not looked into it in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, so it's meant for a mobile app and the web. Is that
not really for the web? Primarily Android.
okay?
But it's also rendered within Qt, so or QML. So I think the best thing is if we work with one of the devs, and it just kind of sets up some page, just throw it on there, just see how it works. So we can actually see if the performance is there. If we'll get different rendering problems on the web than we would get in QML. That could be the case too.
Right.
So kind of a technical evaluation. Harold has been really gung ho about animations, so maybe he'd be happy to run one of
Harold?
those. Yeah, run one of those tests for us.
How did you do that? How did you make when you did the little lines? How did you animate the dotted lines moving, Christoph?
That was the dash offset in. So each line is its own layer.
Right.
Vector layer. It has a line or a path and a stroke, and it was the dash offset, I think, of the stroke.
Oh, I see. And in After Effects?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. What everyone else think of animations?
I like the middle one the best, I think.
Yeah, me too.
It's direct. It's kind of, it has blocks, and yeah, it's nice.
It feels a bit playful as well. And I know that we're not going really for playful with Bitcoin Core, but it adds a little bit of personality, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the top one is very subtle, and yeah, I think the middle one is the one that I would personally go for.
Well, we need 4 different ones. Those are all for different pages.
Ooh.
So we need all good versions of all of these. So the top one is for asking people to enable notifications, because on Android that's necessary to keep the node running in the background, like the system level notification that continuously keeps the process active. The middle one is for storage amount, I think. It's like blocks, or it might be for initial block download, like there's blocks coming in.
Yeah.
Right? The third one is for strength in the network. one of the first screens, the purpose of the whole page. And then there's another one for the block clock itself, which is the trickiest to animate because it's so detailed.
The only thing that comes to mind is the block clock has this very sort of rounded, everything's very round with it. I don't know how it goes with maintaining that sort of visual consistency across, if this is also okay, because these shape-wise, these are just slightly different, but then again, they also match the shape of the buttons. It's just a thought that comes up. I don't know. I mean, just it's missing a little bit the circular vibe that has going on with the block. But then again, not everything needs to be circles.
Okay.
I'm not. I don't know how this little square came about. Is it just?
No, I mean these illustrations have been in the Figma for like 2 years or so.
Yeah.
So that's been around forever. The consistency is achieved. There are rounded shapes, right, and through the colors, of course. The yellow and that gradient there. And other details, but yeah. Okay, cool. But I think it would be cool if we could come up with good versions of these, do a technical evaluation, get them in there, see how we like them. And if we don't like them, just keep iterating. But getting that process done would be very cool. I'd also love to play with them a little bit. Maybe I can also help figure out some of the technical issues from prior experience.
Yeah, with the block clock, I had, I had the thing going around the perimeter, the colored dots on the perimeter, and the numbers were increasing, and then they get to a certain point, and then they decrease to kind of loop it. But the numbers never really, they didn't increase to like, I don't know how many blocks have been a million. What is it now, 1 million or something like that? Like 6, 7 digits.
Anyone know the block time?
800,000 something, 840.
Anyway, it only went up to 300,000. So
yeah,
at least the effect that I was trying to use.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And that's in this Bitcoin Core After Effects file here.
Yeah.
So, cool. Yeah,
I might post it again. Let me clean it up for you a little bit, Christoph, and then I'll post it again.
Yeah, my sense is for that one that it'll be a lot of manually tweaking individual shapes rather than using animated gradients and masks or anything.
Right.
Really just basic flat vectors.
Yeah, I didn't understand how you made that to begin with in Figma.
Oh, this one?
The block clock with the circular, the little cutouts, of each little. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's do if someone wants to, we could do an After Effects session, like we had the prototyping session. Get into that.
Kudos to you for that work that you did as well. That's just other level stuff. That's a speciality right there. Well done.
Okay, we'll just tag team and get some good first versions done that actually render smoothly in QML. Get dev support to validate text side. Cool. AssumeUTXO. Yashrash.
Hey guys, yeah.
I don't have to put you on the spot, but I have nothing to say. I didn't do anything since the prototyping session last time.
Yeah, no, the update I have is super quick. My update is that I have no update. Last week was super crazy for me, but there is a lot of things I want to do. I'll do them and update, and yeah, I don't have anything as of now.
Yeah, it does feel like we can just go through, get one version done that we kind of consider done in a way, ready to go. And then we can just, so we have something where we say, like, this is a good version of it that will probably change in detail, whatever. But that's kind of good for to go. And then we could add that to the design docs somewhere.
Yeah. hmm Yeah, I think like I said on Discord, I want to do a page for assumeUTXO, like testing and stuff. So like people who don't have the background, if they want to test it out, and especially if it's only on Signet and testnet, the testing can be done really quickly comparatively. And
Yeah.
so just wanted to do a page for that. Uh,
Yeah, that's a good one. So it could be under other here, assume UTXO, and that could showcase, this is about this feature. It'll be come up at some point. This is where it's at right now. This is the future. Here are the designs flows for it. And
mhm.
and at the top, maybe somewhere it says, we're looking to help for testing. If you want to help test, do this, do that.
Mm,
And that way
I
you
think
yeah.
have a destination for it.
with the testing as well, I'm definitely on board with doing a clickable prototype. I did notice that when we put tests up and we don't actually physically sit with the people, the feedback just gets spread all over the internet. Even when we provide clear instructions. So I would be more favoring just kind of sitting with a few people and actually testing it with them. We can just post something in the community and be like, hey, looking for 5 people to test this. It's going to take 10 minutes. Um, it's just in the past we posted and then we would even link like to a GitHub repository saying adding feedback here, and it just disappeared into the nether space. So I'd like to kind of get these people and just do some quick tests with them to also validate. So once we've consolidated the actual user flow that we use, we just like post the community like, hey, we're looking for 10 people, for 5 people to test. It's gonna take 10 minutes. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do those as
Yeah.
well. It will just take 15 minutes. I can auto record it. I have an AI auto recording, auto transcribe now. So it should go fairly fast. But yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. What are
Uh,
your thoughts?
yeah, that's awesome. So, what would be needed to be ready for this testing?
A clickable prototype that we all feel is I will even use the word 70%. It does
Mhm.
not need to be perfect. 70%,
Mhm.
60%.
Yeah, well, yeah, I like that because I want to work on the prototyping too. I think Michael also showed me a few things in the last week's call. After last week's call, I definitely want to work on that. I feel like when it comes to Assume UTXO, there is like also the problem that is outside of the application itself, which is obtaining the file itself, like the
Yeah,
Assume UTXO file. And so I think that might be where some instructions as to how to get that file and how to test it, like testing it on a live application, might be useful for that part. And then for the the various UIs that we can do for that part, I think the kind of session that you were talking about might be useful. So
yeah.
to different parts, yeah.
It won't take us long. We're using. I'm leaning into AI now in terms of summarizing user calls because it's something that just takes a lot of time and it's not necessary. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's more consolidating the prototype and then just putting it in front of some people, and
Yeah.
then from there just getting some.
So my experience with yeah, we basically had a discovery phase where we all kind of explored together. We came up with different things, and that is great when you have a whole bunch of different people. And then after discovery, you kind of have to condense again, right? You created this huge mess. Now you have to sort through it. And my
Mhm.
experience is that in discovery, it's great if everyone just kind of goes off on their own. But then in the condensation or the define phase. It's almost better if you have just one or two people kind of sort through things and then kind of create that condensed summary and then maybe present it back. But I feel like it's hard to get to that condensed version if everyone just kind of relies on everyone else to doing whatever they want.
Christoph, you nailed it. You know, that was my next thing, is how do we consolidate all the different prototypes? If this feels okay for everyone, I'm happy to just work in a silo with, not in silo, but I'm happy to just work with Yashraj on that, and both of us just bring one prototype to the finish line and then bring that back up to you guys, if that feels okay with everyone.
Yeah, if you want to own
Yeah.
that one, totally cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Yashraj, we just teamed up.
That's awesome. Yeah, I am realizing I was just looking at Bitcoin meetups here in the area, and I really should go there every month and just use that opportunity to ask him about Sparrow, show what we're doing, get some feedback on all of this stuff. Because it's always a mix of different people. Some are just, they've been around forever. They really know this stuff, understand it super deeply. Other people who are just in it for the culture and just different groups of people. So I think I can get some feedback there on things as well.
Yeah, I'm going here to, mostly it's like once a month, but they're always the same people, and half of them are from Satoshi Labs. so it's kind of limited in that regard. Maybe I have to go further out somewhere. But yeah, it's also fun to meet other people.
I mean, you can get probably great, really technical validation and answers to some questions that we have.
Yeah. Yeah, for that I can go to the office. I think there's yeah.
Such a luxury, Michael, to go into the office where you get to work. Such a luxury.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I haven't been there for weeks now because my wife started working and the children are sick all the time, taking turns. So I'm a home parenting person.
You'll be free soon again, released from your shackles.
Joshua, that I need a gift for that one.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I got distracted for a second, but I'll send you something. Yes.
Good. Perfect. You're the master of gifts.
Okay, cool. So we have 20 more minutes. Research page. Mo, did you wanted to say something about that?
Oh, thank you to everyone who helped to bring this page to life. We posted about it. It started off as a Google document, as all things start off in the community. And now we actually have a place where all of the past research efforts about Bitcoin Core is in one place. And that is, I'm so happy to see that, because this is the longest project that I've personally worked on in the ecosystem. So I'm just super happy to see everything in one place. And I'm just gonna, once I've corrected one link issue there, after I figure out how to rebase, I am going to tweet that. But yeah, it's basically just sharing the past research efforts. That's the Google Doc. That's the link that needs to be fixed. But yeah, I'm basically sharing all of the research efforts that have been done, not only by the Bitcoin design community, but also by a Bitcoin Core developer who also did some research as well. So yeah, links are all there. Try to tell a bit of a story, and the next step is writing a case study. So that's something I'll be starting off probably tomorrow. So yeah, super happy to see that live. We have research in the Bitcoin Core app. Design docs, super nice.
Yeah, and it's great if everyone takes a look at that and just provides their feedback. It says completed research efforts. Is there something also current or ongoing, Or is that where
That's
you
a
have
good
to join the how to? Because there's current and potential user interviews, and then there's how to contribute.
Yeah.
I guess we could move contribute to here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, anyone feel free to add feedback. And I do feel like the documentation, we can quickly iterate and update it just whenever we feel like it. Nothing should feel like it's set in stone. Cool. Any thoughts, questions on the research?
Not for now.
Okay, cool. Then we have block log error state. Pablo's working on this one. Initial step for adding error states. Johnny also created this one. I'm not sure what the latest is right now, if it's something technical or not. But the main thing is that the block log has a bunch of different error states. Sometimes we can tell what it is, sometimes we can't. We have some specific ones, like if the system clocks off, there's like a clock icon. We can tell you like your system clocks off. If you don't have an internet connection, we can tell you that. There are the ones where we just don't know what's going on. But I think something to figure out here, one thing that's missing is if I click on this error, how do I get more information? How do I figure out how to fix this? You know, I think there may be a design somewhere for a modal or something that comes up, but we need to figure out. Well, we're showing people there's an error. How do we what do we want them to do? I think in some designs under error it says tap for more information or something. But yeah, I'll have to double check if read through here. So that's just something that's ongoing. Mobile nav, I don't think we have an update in there. Was there any feedback on the mobile nav design? Oh yeah, there was a small thing about separating separating the balance and the wallet name into two different things so they can be clicked individually. Stuff. Okay, that's ongoing. I don't think Jakob or I did anything. Then we have another one about the language selector. Has anyone looked at that one? Yeah, so we have this language selector. Looks like this right now in the designs. I don't think we have it in the app. But then Jakob had some suggestions to improve it related to how the countries are rendered. Then we basically looked at how Apple does it, because I'm sure they figured it out, and came up with two alternate designs. Basically, you always show the language in the LED language itself. You also show the name of the language in the language currently selected, right? So you understand it, because if I see the word Japanese in Japanese, I don't know what it is. And then you have to have you need to have the differentiator like American English, British English, as needed. So that's it. If anyone has, I think it's pretty straightforward. If anyone has feedback on that one, feel free
Yeah,
to chime in.
if I commented on this one, and it's not something like very insightful probably, but I feel like so many software are like able to detect my system language and just use that. So if my system language is French, then when I launch the Bitcoin Core app, it should automatically choose that one and
Yeah,
just have that.
totally. That can absolutely be the default, and you may not never need to touch it. It could also, some people may also need it. I don't know if you're on a VPN and you're pretending to be in Thailand or something, or I don't know. Well, that doesn't
Yeah.
affect anything. What am I talking about? But anyways, maybe some people will need it. It's a thing, I guess. And we need it whether we have it here or whether we have it in the settings.
Mhm.
I guess we want it somewhere, right?
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be in settings for sure. Because what if I want to change the language at a later date? But
Yeah.
I think I also like the idea of having it on the onboarding, the first step. I think that's where we have it, or if we have it in some design. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just this little
Yeah.
selector here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's also if you have, I mean, there are a lot of languages, and so I saw there was a search box in the proposal, so I think that's going to be helpful as well.
If we have so many translations, I don't
Yeah,
even know.
well, yeah, exactly. It depends on how many there will actually be, but whenever whenever I reinstall or reset an iPhone, I have to to select the language. It's a lot of scrolling.
Yeah.
But if there are like 20, then it doesn't, search doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So that's a small one there, and I think that's kind of it for now. At least everything we have here in the list. And I have no. So Johnny's here. It's been very, very quiet. I don't know if he wants to provide a dev update or not. Either way is fine.
I'm also going to very quickly shill the community call, which is happening in exactly 10 minutes. We haven't had one of these in a very long time. Oh, Johnny's in the airport. We haven't had one of these in a very long time. It's just an open space to talk about all community-related things. And it is on a link which I'll drop in the comments. But feel free to have a coffee break or whatever you need between, because that's quite intense, 2 meetings after the other. So yeah, feel free to join that as well. Completely open to everyone.
But I mean, generally, it feels like, except for wallet creation flows, all of this stuff, we can get it done pretty quickly, right? Within 2 or 3 weeks, we should be able to be done with them.
Yeah, my goal would be for the single sig, this simplest possible use case, to have something next week.
Yeah,
That we can
not done, but discussable, presentable. Yeah,
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How does it, with something like wallet creation, where there maybe in the end you have like 30 different pages, mostly based on the same template, but you just have all these different flows or so that you go through. I find it kind of tricky to evaluate it without having the whole thing in my head. How does everyone else feel?
Yeah, it's that's why I usually start with these diagrams, because I feel I have to have at least a sense of how big the iceberg is before I can start with something really. Yeah. So, but I kind of have I have this sense now that I more or less know what will go where, but I'm sure I'll be proven wrong. But we'll see.
So everything you have for that right now is in Figma, right?
Yeah, I put everything on this one page so that it's in one space.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we should document that process somewhere in a GitHub issue or so, where we have a list of questions, or where we break it down a little bit. I don't know. Let's see. Yashash and Johnny are discussing.
So I'll check out before the community call. I want to check what the water pump is doing.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, see you
Yeah.
soon.
Okay. See you in a bit. Yeah. I mean, we can wrap up to. Let's see what's being worked on. Pure details, assumeUTXO, proxy settings, navigation and file dialog, block storage. Yeah, cool. It sounded like that file dialog has been tricky thing to do. But yeah, it's also good to check in how that development's going and see if the devs have any questions. Snapshot process, no, that's what we need to gather.
Yeah, I think more. Christoph is right. Like we need to gather how much time it takes, but I think it takes enough time that the user cannot be relied upon to just stay on on that screen.
Mm,
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we need to allow them to navigate away, and then still be able to check in, like how far has it come. And that also reminds me, I know this is kind of a big topic, I guess, for some other day, but uh, do we have any thought about notifications? Because if it's done, we should be able to tell them, hey, this thing is done, you know. And this would also be useful, like, so for example, if I'm generating a snapshot after it is generated but I'm not on that page anymore, if we can communicate to the user that, hey, like, this generation is done, you know, like.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, when I was downloading Telegram histories for this AI summary earlier this week. The Telegram Lite app that I used, that also, like for Blixt, it downloaded 200,000 chat messages, so it took a while. So it was a
Mhm,
similar thing where I had this pop up, and it said
mhm,
showed a progress bar, the number of total messages, and how many downloaded. And then it said, yeah, you can close this. And then I closed it, and there was a little
mhm.
reminder at the top.
Yeah.
I can just click it to get it back. That very much
Mhm.
reminded me of
Yeah.
what we have going on with assumeUTXO.
Nice, nice. And like the notification thing, if we have like a notification bar or a section for notification, that could also be useful for, hey, like, you know, receive this transaction, you know. I don't think we have anything for that, or maybe we do, and I just don't know it. But
Yeah, I didn't decide. So there are some different places, right? So there's this thing here, verifying snapshot, that could also just say generating snapshot. You click it, and then you get the info, and that's it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah,
And so
yeah.
when it is done, do you just like that just goes away? You need to like show them like a
No,
strip at the top, like a banner at the top.
so here's the thing. Once we have the wallet, people are not just going to sit on this node page. Right. Right now, this is the
Yeah,
only
yeah.
screen in the application. Once we have the
Mm,
wallet, things will look a little bit differently. However,
mhm,
we do have in on mobile, so we always have this top bar here where we could show a small indicator here on the right when something's happening.
yes, yes. So something like that, and when it's
Yeah.
done, you know.
And I think we're probably going to have, so let's say there's an error with your node. If you're on the
Hmm.
node page, cool, we have very deliberate error. But how do you see that if you're on the activity screen,
Hmm.
right? So we
Yeah.
might need something in the top right there anyways to let you know when something's up or there's something that you should be aware of.
Hmm.
Like you said,
Yeah.
we need to think about this when something's going on, and it should not block you, but you should be aware of it.
Mhm. Yeah, Christoph, I think your designs had like a notification icon at the top right. S- did it? I mean,
It's,
maybe I'm just imagining things, but
I don't know, but that's a really good one to figure out. Um,
yeah, the
yeah.
notification. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, let's put that on the
hmm,
list of notes, and that
yeah.
is definitely figure out global notifications for snapshot loading, generation, node errors, etc. Okay, got it.
Awesome. Yeah. There is a call in 2 minutes. What's it about? I think I kind of missed it. It's
Just a community call. We're picking those up again because when we have the foundation, and the foundation admins, we meet 3 times a week or so, and we end up talking all the time about community stuff, like upcoming, do we want to, and not this, and it's just because we had that place, that space, but really those are community things that we should talk about
mhm.
in
Yeah.
a public open forum. So we wanted to open that up again, and not just talk about in previous community calls, we talked about what's happening in the newsletter and stuff. But here, we'd like to see it a little bit more practical. So if, let's say, in May, we want to organize an Accessibility Day event for Global Accessibility Awareness Day,
Mhm.
that we actually organize that in those calls, that anyone can help in, or we give an update on the foundation, people can ask questions. Like more of these, or like someone, they want to install this SAP bot on the Discord, that people can chime in, like, do they love or hate SAP bots? And maybe someone else wants to manage that SAP bot integration or so, right? So just we open up organizational stuff, that we have a place to talk about these things. That's
Yeah,
the intent.
Yeah, it's on Jitsi. It's on Jitsi though.
Yeah, our usual Bitcoin design Jitsi,
Okay.
be pretty casual.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. I think it's 10 already. But
In 2 minutes.
okay.
I could use the restroom real quick. So
I'm gonna
yes.
go get just a quick break. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll see.
sounds good, folks.
I'll see you in 2 minutes.
Don't forget to
Recording, yeah.
save the recording, Christoph.
Yeah.